This is one of the bunkhouses workers come home to. Another garage, this one, we're told, for 13 men. And then there's this from a neighboring farm.
What the heck is happening on farms across Canada? At least 12 migrant farm workers have died on Canadian farms in 2022, 4 in the last week alone. Those numbers coming from the Migrant Worker Alliance. It's why migrant farm workers are sounding the alarm on what they are calling systemic slavery as more stories about concerning living conditions and questionable compensation surface. While this isn't something new for those affected, this story is making waves again in light of a Jamaican migrant worker who recently died on an Ontario farm. It now has many Canadians questioning what is really happening on farms across this country. Well, we're going to tell you what we know so far. Hey, it's Brandon Gomez, and before we go any further, I need you to do a few things, like subscribing to this channel, tap that notification bell, make sure to like this video, and follow us across all of our social media. The details are in the description below. Why isn't more of the media talking about the fact that 4 people have died working on Canadian farms, all in the last week alone? The most recent was Jamaican migrant worker Garvin Yap, who died on August 14th at Burlow's Best Farm in Simcoe, Ontario. According to authorities, Yap was operating farm equipment at the time of his death. He was just 57 years old. A vigil was held for him at the farm, but news of his death has sparked outrage amongst Canadians looking for answers about the conditions in place that may have contributed to his death. Here's what we know. Yap worked under the seasonal agricultural program for 35 years. The program has been criticized for taking advantage of migrant workers and people from poorer countries, but at the same time has been called essential because it helps fill the farm jobs that Canadians refuse to do. So here's how the seasonal agricultural worker program works. It basically allows Canadian farms to hire temporary foreign workers when Canadians and permanent residents are not available to do those jobs. These foreign workers are typically granted work permits for a max of 8 months out of the year from an approved list of countries that include Mexico and a host of Caribbean nations like Jamaica, Barbados, Grenada, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, and Trinidad and Tobago. The workers who apply for this program usually don't have much choice and are desperately in need of work that cannot be found in their home country to support themselves and their families. Now, while it's the job of those foreign governments to recruit and select workers, it's often the farm owner's responsibility to provide adequate housing, food, and access to medical care here in Canada. From tobacco to fruits and vegetables, grains, flowers, and poultry, many people may not know that these products are likely harvested by migrant farm workers. Numerous reports have revealed that some of those workers, essential to ensuring that there's food at grocery stores for Canadians to buy, are treated unfairly, especially when it comes to living conditions and their pay. In a recent Fifth Estate documentary, this footage shows the living conditions that some farm workers have to endure here in Canada. At this particular farm, this video shows one of the bunkhouses. It's basically a crowded garage that houses 13 men. And here at a neighboring farm, this video shows the disgusting conditions of the bathrooms that migrant workers are forced to use. And reports of the mistreatment don't stop there. Unsafe working conditions in the field, especially during the height of the COVID pandemic, raised massive red flags for the organization Migrant Workers Alliance for Change. The organization went as far as to call what was happening a human rights catastrophe. Just days before Garvin Yap died at Burlow's Best Farm, a group of Jamaican migrant farm workers wrote an open letter to the Jamaican government begging for help and even called out certain farms by name for their inhumane conditions. In the letter, they call the work systemic slavery and also reveal some frightening details about life on Canadian farms. In the letter, workers write, Rats are eating our food. We do not have dryers, so when it rains, we are forced to wear cold, wet clothing to work. We are living in crowded rooms and have zero privacy. There are cameras around the houses, so it feels like we are in a prison. They go on to say, we are treated like mules and punished for not working fast enough. We are exposed to dangerous pesticides without proper protection, and our bosses are verbally abusive, swearing at us. The migrant workers even detail the threats they endure by writing, they physically intimidate us, destroy our personal property, and threaten to send us home. When we call our liaison officers for help, they do not respond to us, or worse, they take the boss's side and put a red mark next to our name, so we are not hired back. All of this leaves so many questions unanswered. Who's at fault for this? Can this program be fixed, or should it even exist? What is the Canadian government doing to address this? Because these reports aren't new. And what role does the Jamaican and other foreign governments play in this program? But also, who has to answer for all of the deaths of foreign farm workers in Canada? You know, what we can commit to you is that we'll continue covering this story right here on the show. Hey BG Squad, thanks so much for checking out our channel. And listen to this, we have more great content for you, like this video right here, and this video right here. By the way, don't forget to subscribe to this channel right now and tap that notification bell.